name's Dennis Troy. I am fortunate to be the mayor of Brentwood Borough, and I would like to be the first to thank you, Secretary Dunn, for your participation and your partnership. We certainly appreciate the governor's involvement. You truly have been, from the Commonwealth perspective, a true partner with us. And I take a look at this project, this whole redevelopment, as a public-private partnership. Of course, in addition to the Commonwealth, Allegheny County and County Executive Rich Fitzgerald has been a tremendous partner as well. But we also have, we have the private partners. We've had a lot of folks from the community through the Brentwood Park Initiative, and Mrs. Hine is here, and she's been a fantastic addition to the BPI. And really the genesis of this whole redevelopment, does lie with the Brentwood Park Initiative. And I remember meeting George for the first time. George, that was maybe 10 years ago, and we met up at JT's and we talked about this vision. And today we're looking at well over $10 million being invested in this park. And in my private endeavors in work, I do a lot of economic development work. And quite frankly, when we do these redevelopments, recreation is a big part of it. I do a lot of work in the Strip District. I mean, the walking trails in the Strip. I mean, that's a key component. And all too often in today's digital age, people, they don't interact as much. And if they do, it's via phone. It's good to have these recreational opportunities where you get to interact with people on a face-to-face basis. It's good for our children. I mean, our children need recreational opportunities. So your investment in this park is profound. It is much appreciated. And I dare challenge anybody in southwestern Pennsylvania to really put up against what Brentwood has. I mean, we've got a beautiful park at the center of our community. You walk to school. We don't have busing in Brentwood. We have our own school district where people walk. You can walk at all points. You walk to the park. So it's a really fantastic addition to our community. We're going to be doing some more groundbreakings next week. We're going to be doing a groundbreaking on a new hospital. So really, Brentwood has everything that you need in a community. We have a fantastic recreation department, and I want to call out our recreation director, Jim Adenucci, who's done a fantastic job, Jim. You truly have. And I take a look at the programming that we have for the park. I mean, it's second to none. I mean, there's activities going on all the time. So if you can't find something fun to do in Brentwood, you're not looking hard enough. I can assure you of that. But before I announce two more speakers, I want to acknowledge our public officials that are here. I want to our assistant president or vice president, John Frombach, is here. Thank you, John. We have Mr. A.J. Doyle, and my good friend of many years, Bob Pasquantonia. And for those of you who aren't aware, Bob is very, very keen and a strong advocate on walking trails. And we were working on a walking trail in what we call the Hollow. So Bob's taken the lead on that. So Bob's a big advocate of that, and I applaud you for your efforts. And of course, we've got Val Vitale, who is our Public Works Director. He's done a great job. And we also have Eric Pecan, who is our Assistant Manager. Yeah. And certainly, last but not least, is who I believe is a fantastic Police Chief, Adam Zepiar. So the person I'm going to call up next, I've known this gentleman for 25 years. I'm proud to call him my friend, and I'm very fortunate to call him our state representative. Harry's, people in Harrisburg really like Harry. They know he's a straight shooter, and he's a man that really represents what I believe the core beliefs and values that Brentwood holds dear. And I think he's done one heck of a job, and without his support, I'm not sure that all the support that we've received from the Commonwealth would necessarily be here. So with that, I'd like to call up Mr. Readshaw for a few remarks.
Good morning, everyone. Madam Secretary, I don't know if you noticed or not, but as soon as the mayor starts to speak, the news media shows up. Oh. I'm sure it wasn't planned that way, but it certainly is suspicious. At least, Madam Secretary, Deputy Secretaries, obviously I am pleased to welcome you here today. I had forgotten, by the way, that you had served under and been appointed by 3 governors. That in itself is quite an accomplishment. You should be very proud of that. Mostly everything has been said, obviously. It's a proud day, but I just want to maybe make a few comments about the community, Brentwood itself. You know, I was present at the variety of meetings, whether they were council meetings or public meetings about the pool, starting with my left here and ending up to the right. And at those meetings, I have to give credit to council. You were very, very patient with all the people who spoke during those meetings, placing their requests, and that varied from requests to demands, as we all know. And so you're going to have, and at that time, who thought that this day would be happening, and almost $700,000 being appropriated and given to this wonderful cause. Obviously, we need to thank not only Secretary Dunn, but the Governor Wolf, and I have a strong feeling, obviously, that you'll have employment for the next 4 years, by the way. And just to mention too, you know, things like this just don't happen. It takes a variety of people to put forth an effort and to so that we can share in a sense of accomplishment today and the future. And just a word about Brentwood itself. I have very strong affection to Brentwood, the elected officials, the people who live here. The only exception is my grandson is first string offensive guard for Baldwin Borough, and I have to go to those games. So. But Baldwin is a great community, a walking community. The amenities in this community are great. The elected officials are great. And to get things accomplished, you have to form one thing and possess one thing. And that goes from the governor, through the secretary, through Allegheny County, down through the boroughs. And that's called friendship. We all have to get along, form friendships, and agree upon what needs to be done, when it has to be done, and how it is to be accomplished. So obviously I'm thrilled to be here on this day. And next week, if I might put a plug in for Brentwood again next week, next Thursday, the Allegheny Health Network will be breaking ground for a neighborhood hospital at 51 and Greenlee Road. So obviously, Brentwood should be proud of its accomplishments. We thank the governor once again for the courtesy of consideration of this. And God bless Brentwood, and let's keep moving forward. Thank you again, Madam Secretary.
Again, thank you, my friend. Our last speaker is a gentleman I've known for a number of years. We coach football together. We currently coach football. And I remember when I first asked him to consider running for public office, he wasn't too sure about it. But I got to tell you, in the 3 years, it's about 3 years now, you've really taken a shine to the position. I think you've done a fantastic job as president. And you know, I think you've lent yourself and your background, your experience. It's matched up very well with George Bioski, our most abled borough manager. I mean, I think we've got a pretty darn good team here at Brentwood. And right now, at the helm is our president of council, Harold Smith.
So I guess really at this point, I can't really say much more than's already been said, but one thing that I do want to say is that I want to give a lot of credit to our borough manager and our assistant manager and his staff for basically going for this last grant. I know George and I had talked about it, and we said we were going to go for it, and you know, here we are. So as far as the poll goes, I know I was on the Park and Rec committee for a period of time, and the iterations had changed significantly over time. We were just going to put a pole liner into the pole and patch some concrete and do some things, and it spun into a lot of issues with our pole house, and so this is fantastic. I know that as Mr. Readshaw had said at the town hall we had for the pole, there was a lot of comments made about different things, the bathrooms and things like that. And with this grant that gives us this opportunity to do the things that we wanted to do, and that the community had asked for as well. So again, I want to thank everybody for coming out today, and as Mr. Readshaw stated as well, that next week we do have groundbreaking for a new hospital in Brentwood. This is a great community. I'm glad to be president and glad to be part of this, and thank all of you. So thank you to the council as well, because the council voted on us moving forward with these pool designs, and we're real excited about this this next project here. So thank you, everyone.
Okay, we'll open up to any questions, but I do want to make sure that we also acknowledge Senator Brewster, who could not be here today, his involvement as well, and we certainly appreciate his support for all of our different endeavors here in the community. And again, I want to thank again Secretary Dunn and Governor Wolf. I mean, Governor Wolf has been a fantastic governor, in my humble opinion, and I think Mr. Readshaw was correct when he says, I think you'll be there for a little bit longer. So.
Thank you. Yeah, well, we dropped our short-term planning, so.
Indeed. So is there any questions that anybody may have?